Hi, and welcome to another episode of Rob's Triathlon Tips for Beginners. This will be a demo video. So I did a video on the benefits of doing yoga and why it should be a part of your training routine. So in this video, I'll be demonstrating some of the fantastic hip stretches that I've learned from yoga. So let's get right into it. First thing I'm going to demonstrate is something called the figure four stretch. I'll show it from different angles. So you take one of your legs, you put your ankle right above your knee, and you can see why it's called the figure four. So you get in this position, it's key to flex this foot here. And you may already feel a stretch here. You can do a bit of a stretch just sitting with your hands pushing yourself forward so you're more upright, and you'll start to feel that right in here. And you can, so I'll show for the side, you would push with your arms to sit up, or you can take it to the next level and lie down, and making sure that you've got this foot flexed all the time. From here, if you're feeling a stretch already, you can actually push this knee out further. You kind of play with all these stretches to see how you're feeling differently when you move your foot in different places, and you apply some pressure on the knee here. To really take it to the next level, you thread your hands through the center of the hole, and you grab your shin, and you start to pull your shin towards your chest, making sure that you keep that foot flexed. And the more you pull in, the more of a stretch you get. And again, you can push on that knee to hit a different part of your hip, and that's a really great stretch. And so you do both sides, and you can also, before you switch sides, do another stretch, and you basically roll your legs to the side so that this leg, the foot is on the ground, and you hit a slightly different part of your hip with this stretch. And it's also a gentle twist for your spine. And so I like to hold these for at least a minute, maybe 2 to 3 minutes if you've got the time to spare. And then you do that sequence on the other side. So there's a couple stretches really from the same position, one with the twist. You've also got a very simple stretch where you basically stack your legs. Some people call it like a log house. You stack your legs, and you reach forward and lean forward, and you might not think that that's going to do much, but that really hits your hips. And you hold that for a while, and that really gets on the outsides of your two hips. A very simple looking move, but effective also. You also want to get this part of your hips, the front of your hips, hip flexors. And there are a few ways to do that. First, you can start with a lunge. So I lie this foot in the back flat and bring this foot forward. And you may start like this and then come up onto your knee. And the more you lean forward, the more it pulls in here. And you don't want to do these stretches to the point where it hurts, but you want to feel something. So you play with that again to get that right level of stretching without pain. So that's a simple stretch for the front of the hip. You've also got something called pigeon pose, where this back leg is doing the same thing, but this front leg comes forward like this. And the more this front leg is towards 90 degrees, the more pressure is going to be on your knee. So you really want to tuck it in, and you feel this and this hip that you've got straight. And you can, lean forward with your hands, or you can completely rest your forehead on your forearms like a pillow, and you just sit in this pose. That's called pigeon pose. And usually in yoga, they'll start you in a downward dog, and to get into pigeon, they'll say lift this leg and then come forward into pigeon like this. And so I'll show that from the side. In yoga, they'll say downward dog, lift this leg, and then come forward into pigeon. And then you flatten that back foot and you make a shelf, and you can relax into that and just stay in that pose for a couple minutes. And that's really great for the hip flexors. And if that's just not doing enough, then there's another pose that is fantastic for your hip flexors, and you'll need a block or like a pretty sturdy pillow or something. And what you do with this is put it in your sacrum, so just above your butt, kind of at the base of your spine. And you sit, you lift yourself up and you put your block right there. I usually put it on this sort of middle setting of height. And what you do, I'm gonna move over here if I have space. And so it kind of puts you in a supported bridge pose from yoga. And then what you do is you straighten one of your legs, and you'll start to feel a stretch in the front of that leg already. And then you bring your, for even more of a stretch, you bring the other knee in towards your chest. And the more you do that, the more of a stretch you get in the straightened leg. And again, it's key that the straightened leg has a flexed foot. If you just sort of flop it, it's not quite as intense of a stretch. But you can play with that. You can do what some people call flossing, where you straighten and tighten that foot. Straighten, flex. And then you're kind of flossing your calf and the front of your shin. And I'll sit in this pose for as long as I can stand to without falling asleep. And it's always fantastic for the front of the hips. And then you just switch legs to the other side. And then when you're ready, you lift up your hips and take out your block. So hopefully you can find some good benefits from those yoga stretches for your hips. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. And make sure to hit the little bell notification and set it to all to get notified of all my video uploads. And share this video with people you know that may benefit from it as well. Thank you.